Good morning. Time to get your verse and worship song for today. So we are continuing our look at First Peter. So we're looking at First Peter. We're going to jump into chapter 5. So First Peter 5, um, verses 1 through 5. So here we go. Now, as an elder myself and a witness of the suffering of Christ, as well as one who shares in the glory to be revealed, I exhort the elders among you to tend to the flock of God that is in your charge, exercising the oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you do it, not for sordid gain, but eagerly. Do not lord it over those in your charge, but be examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherds appear, you will win the crown of glory that never fades away. In the same way, you who are younger must accept the authority of the elders, and all of you must clothe yourselves with humility in your dealings with one another. For God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. So let's kind of unpack this a little bit here. I don't normally share this, but in my study Bible here, um, it gives me a Wesleyan core term, and this is social religion. I think this is very important, as we spend our time in social isolation. I just want to read this little section to you here about what Wesley thought about social religion. So, Wesley is famously quoted as writing, "The gospel of Christ knows of no religion but social, no holiness but social holiness. Religion cannot be limited to an individual, private, inward piety if it is true Christianity. God gifts each believer to serve the body. Through God's grace, believers are empowered to love and act hospitably toward one another. For Wesley, holiness is evidenced through the acts of mercy, especially toward the poor and needy. Christians should exhibit this kind of community seen in the Acts church. But in addition to this understanding of social religion as sharing and meeting material needs, Wesley also maintained that Christians need mutual accountability to spur them into holiness. He was highly suspect of the individual pursuit of holiness and believed that without loving Christian accountability, the holy life was not obtainable. So, what the verses are saying here is, building that reliance on one another. You know, um, Peter here is setting up the structure of the church, or helping to, I guess, reaffirm the structure of the church. With a system of elders who kind of care and look after and mentor the younger generation, and then in turn, the younger generation grows up to be the elders that care for the next generation, and instruct the next generation, and you know help the next generation in their um, pursuit of Christ. So we need to take pause at this and think about our structure in our society today. Um, you know, whenever we say the term elders, a couple different images come to mind. You know, um, in a church setting, an elder is someone usually that has status in the church, that has been there for a while, that kind of thing. In society, whenever we talk about elders, we talk about, the first thing that comes to mind is elderly, someone who is, older, someone that has, possibly lived life, to their fullest, and now they're at that, those golden years, as we call them, before they leave this world. Um, so with that structure, I think in church we do a good job of kind of respecting those elder positions, and making those people the leaders in our churches. Um, the problem I see a lot of times in churches, though, is that um, whenever they get to that point, the next generation is either not willing to step up into those roles, or the the elders are not willing to kind of give up that power in that structure. Um, I think in our society, not in the church life, but just in our United States society in general, compared to a lot of different cultures, we don't do well at taking care of our elderly. I mean, yeah, there are exceptions. We do things to help them out, but in general, we don't care for our elderly like a lot of different cultures and societies do. Um, a lot of societies, by the time um, by the time the elderly need a lot of assistance, they're back in the house with their kids, or they have never left. A lot of cultures, multiple generations live in the same house. But we need to do a better job of taking care of these people. Um, as a younger generation, looking at the elders of our society, whether in church life or whether in our world outside of the church, we need to do better at taking care of these people. They've provided. They're usually the backbone of the church. Um, they're supporting. They're there faithfully. Um, but we need to step in and maybe help take some stuff off their plate. Help show them that the next generation isn't what society has labeled us as. I'm right on the edge of being a millennial. I don't necessarily lump myself with that group, but millennials get a bad rap because we're all about just focused on self and self pleasure and self experiences. Not really caring about much about others or society or hierarchical structures in general. But we need to focus on helping that next that golden generation, um, helping them enjoy their years. They've put in the hard work. They've put in the labor. Um, you know, and what Peter is telling us here is that we need to take that into consideration in the church. We need to think about the structure, and we need to help the elders just to enjoy it, enjoy the work, enjoy the love that they've put in. And at the same time, we need to look at the elders and say, you know what, guys, it's time to relinquish some of that power. It's time to um, let the next generation lead. If we don't have an opportunity to take the torch, if we don't have the opportunity you know, to to run with it, then how are we ever going to be able to have that ready to pass on to the next generation? Right? We is in the middle, have two responsibilities here. Peter's telling us we have the responsibility to listen and respect to that elder group above us, and we also have the responsibility to mend or to tend, sorry, to the group below us. In the school setting, we use this a lot with the older kids helping the younger kids. A lot of them don't like it, but it's a principle based on something like this in Peter that you know, hey, you need to help guide. You need to help that next group rise up as a strong body of believers of Christ. Somebody closer to their age can have such more of a huge effect on them than what the elder generation can. So we need that middle generation to kind of bridge the gap. So the wisdom that we're getting from the older generation, and the knowledge of how to do things like that, we need to take that. We need to practice it. We need to pass it on to the younger generation so that the younger generation can carry on a thriving church and can be a place that succeeds and not a place that is slowly fading away. So today, your worship song, the link will be below in the description. We're going to do Welcome King Jesus. This is a great song. So this will be Welcome King Jesus, People and Songs. Link will be below. Enjoy your day.